Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's story is Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. So let me begin with today's story. Now I will tell you the today's story's characters. The Mr. Fox, Miss Fox, the small foxes, Badger, Bogus, Bean and Buns. Let me go with the story now. So down the valley there were three farmers. The owners of the farm had done well and they had got very rich. The name of Farmer Bogus, Farmer Buns and Farmer Bean. Now Bogus was a chicken farmer. He kept thousands of chickens. He was enormously fat, as we can guess. This was because he ate 3 boiled chickens smothered with dumplings every day for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Now Buns was a duck and geese farmer. What he used to eat, he was a really small dwarf type person, and what he used to eat was donuts smelled with, how should I describe, goose livers. It was really disgusting though. And Bean, he was like an apple and turkey farmer, but he never ate any of his turkeys. Instead, he used to eat the apple cider from his apple orchards. Now, the smaller kids around the areas used to sing this very beautiful poem, Bogus and Buns and Bean, one fat, one short, one lean. These horrible crooks, so different in looks, were nonetheless equally mean. I'll tell you why they were so horrid and so mean later in the story. Now, just above the hill in the valley, there was a hole near a tree. That hole belonged to Mr. and Mrs. Fox along with their 4 small foxes. Now, they used to live very near the farmers, and the fox was very clever, intelligent, as we all could guess. What he used to do is, in the dead of night, he would crawl to the farmer's area and then he would snatch 1 hen or 1 geese or 1 turkey from the 3 farmers. The farmers already knew what was happening, but they could not do anything since he was so sly. So what he used to do is, every night, one of them would take his shotgun and hide in a dark place somewhere on his own farm, hoping to catch the robber. That is what the farmers did. But Mr. Fox was too clever for them. He always approached the farm with the wind blowing in his face. And this meant that if any man was lurking in the shadows ahead, the wind would carry the smell of that man to Mr. Fox's nose from far away. Thus, if Mr. Bogus was hiding behind his chicken house number 1, Mr. Fox would spell him and from 50 yards away and would go to chicken house number 4. So this was a really clever plan. Now, Bean knew all about this, and since he was really clever, he made up a plan. He thought that we won't be able to catch him every time he escapes with the wind blowing in his face. So he had an idea. He said we should dig him out. They went with their shovels near his hole and then they started digging everything. The Mr. Fox, Miss Fox heard these noises and soon it started crackling down to their tunnel. Now, the foxes were diggers. They could dig faster than men. They started digging and digging and digging. Soon the tunnel began to grow. It grew and it grew and it grew. Like a few hours later, Bogus, Buns and Bean reached the tunnel, but the Mr. Fox had already escaped. Now they thought of machines. Now we'll become with machines and dig this man out. Then they came with machines and started digging the entire hill. Now Mr. Fox knew about this again. He again saw the roof of the house breaking. They again started digging and digging and digging. It's been hours and hours since they were digging, but still these horrible crooks won't leave them alone. Now they dug enough and enough and enough. Now Bean had an idea. He said, now we'll sit outside this hole. At some point he has to come out of the tunnel in order to get food. And the moment he comes out, we'll shoot him and he will die. And Mr. Fox heard of this plan and he could not go outside. So he had another plan. He took his 4 foxes and told them to start digging a hole with them. All the foxes said, where are we going, Father? Where are we going, Father? But he wouldn't reply where they're going. He said, shut up. I don't want to get your hopes too high because I don't know if I'm correct or not. They started digging and after a few hours they came just below a cupboard. He pushed up the cupboard and saw that they were in Bogus's chicken house number 1. They were so delighted by seeing the plump chickens surrounding them. They grabbed 3 plumpest chickens and told the eldest son in order to carry back to his mother and tell him to cook a feast. Now, the rest 3 foxes and the big fox started digging another hole. Now, as soon as they were digging another hole, they saw a voice as if someone was digging above them. Then it was a badger. Mr. Fox and Mr. Badger hugged each other after meeting after such a long time. Again started digging and digging and digging, and then they found Buns' geese area. There were hundreds of hams, turkeys, cheese, and all the other things you could ever dream of. They grabbed 3 turkeys and so much of ham, cheese, bacon and everything, and they pumped it all in a tray, and all the two foxes went back with the trays back. The badger, while they were digging another forest, told them that all the badgers, rabbits, and moles are hungry because of buns, bean, and bogus on top of the hole. They cannot go outside. Their life is in danger. But he told them, I have a great idea. Next, they reached the beans farm. They saw hundreds of apple cider jars. They picked a few of them and they traveled back. Now, when they came back, they saw a huge table laid in the middle with many foxes, moles, and rabbits, badgers, and foxes, all of them having a great meal. They gave a few toasts. Miss Fox replied, I am so happy we all diggers are here, but now we already know that the outside world is in danger. We cannot go outside. But why should we? We're diggers. We'll create a huge city made in here, and we have houses for different for moles, badgers, and rabbits, and foxes. Then in the middle of the night, I will go to the bogus buns and beans farm and fetch us all food. Then we'll eat like kings. Then we'll live in an underground society, forever safe and forever fed. Everybody cheered and clapped and was so happy they danced around the entire night. And I think Buns, Bogus, and Beans are still waiting outside the hole for Mr. Fox along with other diggers to come outside. And I think they're probably dead. We never know. This is the end. Bye-bye.